Hey guys, Zachariah Hodge here. Today on this video, we're actually going to do a story time video. And when I say story time, this is actually a story I've written at school and at home. Just to let you guys know, this wasn't a school assignment. This was not assigned by any of my 4 classes in high school. And this was not like somebody telling me to do this story or do that story. This was on my own. I made this story all up. This was a story that I wanted to do as a prediction of my 19th birthday, because next year I am turning 19, and I thought, why not make a story about a prediction, of my 19th birthday. So decided to write this story, and it's a 22-page story, and I actually like this story because it has so much detail, and I feel like I added so much details into it. Like every scene here in this story has so much details, like probably like 3 or 4 details inside the story. So yeah, we're gonna read it today. I'm gonna show you guys the story. You guys are gonna hear the story. Like I said, it's a long story. It's about 22 pages. I wrote it on loose leaf paper, as you guys see. Yeah, I wrote it on loose leaf paper. I feel like I should have written it in a notebook, and I feel like it was weird that I wrote it on loose leaf paper, but it's fine. At least it's a story, so it's a story I've written. I think the next story I write, though, that's going to be in a notebook. So yes, so I wrote this story. It took me 2 days to write this story. So the title of this story is, as you can tell by the title, it is called The Best Busch Gardens Trip of My Life. And yes, it took me 2 days to write this story. If you guys don't know Busch Gardens, the Busch Gardens I'm talking about, it is Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, because as we know, there are 2 Busch Gardenses, and this is the Busch Gardens, that I'm talking about. So today, this is a story of my 19th prediction birthday. Without further ado, let's get started. And during the story time, I will like talk about why I added these characters in the story, because some parts you might be confused and be like, why did you put that in the story? That's not supposed to be there because we have this now, or we have that now. But yes, I didn't know these people very well, so I just added the old people. So without further ado, let's get started. All right. So I was just getting home from school last Friday. So I'm telling this story just so you guys know, I am telling this story the week after my birthday. So that's why I put it last Friday, just so y'all know. All right, on with the story. It was all cloudy and rainy. In fact, the weather was so bad, we got some flash flood warnings in the area. I got home from school at about 4 p.m., which was always the time I would get off the bus. I went in the house all soaking wet and tired. I set my backpack down in the kitchen and went upstairs to my room. I got my phone and headphones out and started listening to rock and roll music. I was the only one at home right now. My sister, Olivia Hodge, went to her friend's house after school, and my dad, Myron Hodge, was on his way home from work, with him talking to his wife in his car on the phone. My dad got remarried in 2019, and I was a little disappointed about it, but I am now okay with it. My mom, Sarah Hodge, lives in Virginia Beach in an apartment about 10 minutes from the beach. My parents got divorced in 2018, and I was upset about it, but I got over it now. At about 5:30 p.m., my dad was home. He came in the house on the phone with his wife. He came in and said, "Hey Zach, how was school today?" I said, "It was pretty good. How was work?" And he said, "It was good. Are you excited that we're going to Busch Gardens for your 19th birthday tomorrow?" I said, "Heck yeah." I've been waiting for this day to come." The dad smiled and said to him, "That's great, son. Well, I'm going to go upstairs to talk to Miss Misty now. I'm so excited, man." As Dad went upstairs, I got my phone out, went on Instagram, and went on my DM to text my friend Luke about tomorrow. Luke was my best friend that I was inviting to the park tomorrow. He texted me and said, "Hey Zach, bro, I am so excited for all the rides we're going to ride tomorrow at Busch Gardens, especially the new Pantheon roller coaster, which will probably be the best." By the way, Pantheon, I'm going to make a video on that later, on that soon. Pantheon is the new roller coaster that has been announced at Busch Gardens that they're planning for 2020. As you guys remember on that video that I did for a prediction of 2020's roller coaster at Busch Gardens, well, Pantheon is the new ride they're making next year. So stay tuned. I will do a new video on that. But yes, Pantheon next year, Busch Gardens 2020. I said so. Back to the story. I said so. Hang on, let me find it because I stapled these kind of a little wrong. Okay, here we go. Excited. "Heck yeah, bro. We should go on that one first because you already know the line going to get slam packed since it is new." Then Luke said, "Yes, bro. Then we should hit Tempesto and Apollo's Chariot after it since it is close to in the Festa Italia area." Zach understand what Luke was talking about, even though after Pantheon, he wanted to go to the back of the park and ride Verbolten so many times since it was his favorite coaster. He said, "Yeah, bro, you're right. We should. Then we should go to the Oktoberfest section and hit the Verbolten, the Black Forest ride." Luke said, so excited, "Yes, bro, we should be the first ones to ride, which we probably won't because you will be hitting Pantheon." Zach replied, "We will see tomorrow, bro. Well, I gotta go and take my shower and get my clothes out for tomorrow." It was about 7:45 p.m. and my sister just got home from her friends. As I was heading to the bathroom to take a shower, my sister... Hang on. My sister stopped me and said, "Bro, you so lucky you're going to Busch Gardens tomorrow." I said, I know, but you and Jonah, who is my little brother, will have the house to yourself tomorrow." And she said, "That's true." So I took my shower, put on pajamas, and set my clothes out for tomorrow. Always before bed, I would listen to relaxing music. But I was so excited, I went to bed right away. I turned on Family Guy and went straight to bed. I was so excited that it was kind of difficult for me to sleep, but obviously, I fell asleep. The next morning was already perfect with its sunny skies. I woke up at about 7:19 a.m. and I woke up but still laying in bed, thinking about the fun things we're going to do at Busch Gardens. At about 7:45, my dad came in and said, "Zach, start getting ready so we can go get Luke and go to Busch Gardens." He said, "Also, I'm bringing a friend with us too, okay?" "Okay, Dad." After he said that, it was time to get my day started. I put my clothes on, put on deodorant, and make my bed and brush my teeth. At about 8:45 a.m., my dad was about ready to get in the car. We were on our way to go get Luke so we can go to Busch Gardens. Me and my dad stopped at a Hardee's to get some breakfast. We both got bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits. As we were in the drive-thru line at Hardee's, Luke called me on my iPhone XR and said, "Bro, I'm so ready for Busch Gardens. Are you and your dad on your way to get me?" Zach said, "Yes, sir, bro. We'll be there at around 9:30 a.m. As me and my dad were eating our biscuits in the car on our way to get Luke, he asked me, "Son, you ready for Busch Gardens today with your best friend?" I said, "Yeah, very, actually. Can me and Luke walk on our own in the park?" Dad said, "Sure, Zach, as long as you have your phone with you, sure." At about 9:35 a.m., we arrived at Luke's... Hang on. We arrived at Luke's house. He was waiting on his doorstep, and when we pulled up, he jumped right up and head straight for the car. Luke came in all excited, saying, "Hey, what's up, Zachariah? How you been, man?" "I've been good, bro. I'm so excited for today, man." Then Luke said as we exit his neighborhood, "Hey, bro, I got you a present, bro." "Oh, bro, what is it?" Luke handed me a card with $20 in it and a box of Skittles. I told him, And thanks, bro, I appreciate it. We were on the way to Busch Gardens, but first we had to stop in Suffolk and get my dad's friend. Luke and I was so hype about the trip that we were talking about it the whole ride there. We arrived at my dad's friend's house and she came into the car. As she was getting in, my dad said, "Boys, this is my friend that I know very well." The boys looked kind of confused because even Zach has never seen her. They both just said, "Hi, how are you?" And she said, hang on, "I'm good, guys, how are y'all?" "We are doing so good." "Oh, good, that is good." We were on our way to the park, all excited. There was a little traffic on the road there, but it was not that bad. As we arrived in Williamsburg, me and Luke were getting even more excited. Luke was probably more excited than me, though. He was literally shouting in the car saying, "I'm so ready, bro." And I just answered him, "Yeah, bro, I am so pumped." We got on the exit bridge that takes us to the park. We saw every ride operating and testing from looking in the parking lot. We arrived at the toll plaza and gave the man our season pass to get in. I already had a pass, which means I could get free parking and get into the park without a problem. Once my family and Luke got into the park, we were going to the park entrance where they have to check if you have your pass, but Luke forgot that he didn't have a pass. So we had to go to the guest service and buy Luke a pass, which was like $100. But it was good too because that meant that we could go to Howl-O-Scream together in the fall, which is going on right now. So we got our tickets and got straight in the park. The park looks so beautiful with its beautiful music and beautiful landscape and weather. As we were walking, Luke asked, "So, birthday boy, what do you want to ride first?" And Zach said, "I think we should ride the Loch Ness Monster first since it's the first coaster we walked up to." Then Luke said, "Yeah, bro, let's do it." So we got in line and there was barely any line, so we got straight on. "Well, Zach, this is our first ride of the day." I said, "Yeah, bro, here we go." And after I said that, the announcements came on and said, "Thank you and enjoy your ride on the legendary Loch Ness Monster." And the ride started. As the ride went down the drop, and me and Luke screamed like little girls through the ride. After the ride was over, we got off and was completely out of breath from screaming and cursing. Luke asked me, "That was so fun. Zach, will we ride that again?" Zach said, "Nah, bro, let's head over to Pantheon before the line gets long." And Luke said, "Okay, bro, let's do it." So we ran all the way to the Festa Italia to ride the ride, but as we were on our way, the employee stopped us next to Escape from Pompeii. She said that we are too early and that we have to wait till 10:15 a.m. Me and Luke were so excited that we could hardly wait. At 10:15, they let us go. Me and Luke ran so fast to the ride that the security had to tell us to slow down and walk. We arrived at the entrance to the ride. "That looks mighty big, Luke said. "Oh, come on, Zach, we got this." So we got in line, and there was barely any line, just like Loch Ness. We got right on the ride. Hang on. We got right on the ride. The ride felt so fast that it felt like 72 miles per hour the whole ride. When the ride ended, me and Luke could not believe our eyes on how thrilling it was. We got off the ride and said together, "That was freaking awesome." Then Zach said, "We need to do that so many times." And Luke said, "Yeah, bro, let's do it." So that's what we did. Since there was no line, we rode it 5 times in a row. After 5 rides on Pantheon, it was the afternoon hours, about 11:45 a.m. Bro, that was like one of the best rides I've ridden in my life, said Zach. Then Luke said, "Heck yeah, bro, that was amazing." So after Pantheon, we headed for the Apollo's Chariot. When I tell you the line was so short, it was just at the gate to get on the ride. We got on the ride. Zach said, "Here we go, man." And Luke said, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden, the announcements came on. "Thank you and enjoy your voyage to the sun on the wings of Apollo's Chariot." The ride began. It descended the 107-foot lift hill and dropped 210 feet down. Me and Luke were screaming and cursing so loudly that you can hear us the whole ride, no matter what row you were in. After the ride ended, me and Luke went on it again. Since the line was short like Pantheon, We rode the ride 3 times in a row, and afterwards, Zach said, "Bro, that was freaking awesome, amazing. That is so my favorite B&M coaster. All right, bro, Tempesto time." Luke said, "Yes, let's do it." We ran to Tempesto and looked at the wait time, and it was only 2 minutes. So we got in line and waited those minutes. 2 minutes we got on the ride, and suddenly, now sit back with your back against the seat and your head against the headrest. Dare to enjoy a ride on Tempesto. The ride started, it launched 63 miles per hour up the top, and me and Luke screamed like little girls the whole ride. When the ride ended, we rode it about 3 times, and each time was absolutely awesome. After we got out of the Tempesto area, Luke said, "All right, Zach, we're going to Verbolten next, but first I had to use the bathroom." So we went to the bathroom by Tempesto. When we got there, Luke went to the bathroom, but I did not have to go, so I waited outside for him. While I was waiting for Luke, I saw the park president of Busch Gardens and Water Country USA. I went to him and said, "Hey, are you the park president?" And he said, "Yes, I am. I'm Carl Lum." I said, "Now guys, remember, like I said in the beginning, I did not know who the new park president was. I just remembered the old park president. So don't comment and tell me that there's a new president. Why did you put the old president in there?" Well, the answer is because I don't know him that well yet, but I will know him soon. So right now, I just put it Carl Lum. So don't get mad about that. Don't write a negative comment about that. I just did that because right now I don't know him very well. So don't do it. Anyway, back to the story. I said, "Oh my gosh, I saw you on YouTube, and I'm just a big fan of your park." He said, "Why, thank you. We really appreciate your comment." As I was talking to him, Luke came out of the bathroom and said, "Zach, who is this?" "This is Carl Lum, the park president of the park." Then Luke smiled surprisingly and said to him, "Oh yeah, I seen you on Instagram and YouTube, and you do such a good job with your rides in the park." Carl Lum smiled at both of them and said, "Why, thank you guys for your support. We really do our best with organizing the park." Zach said, "That's really cool. Hey, do you mind if we get a picture with you?" He answered, "Of course, y'all can." So me and Luke got about 2 to 4 pictures with the president, shook his hand, and said, "Thank you so much. You have a great day now." He replied, "You guys do the same. Enjoy the park." "Okay," Zach said. As he left, Luke said, "Well, he was nice. So, off to Verbolten." "Off to Verbolten?" Zach said, "Yeah, bro, let's go." So since it was 11 a.m., we both ran to Verbolten from Festa Italia to Oktoberfest. When we got to the ride's entrance, we checked the ride's wait time. It was about 10 to 12 minutes. And Zach said, "Wow, I thought the line was going to be very long because this is like the best ride in the park." And he said, "Well, bro, why we just standing here? Let's ride." Luke said, "Yeah." The boys walked through the line, walked way past the German brother and sister office theming, and when we got to the station, the line was there. It was right where you pick your rows to get on the ride. After waiting about 10 to 5 minutes, we got on the ride. We got the green car, which was one of my favorite cars to ride in. Then Luke said, "All right, Zach, this is Verbolten. Are you ready?" Zach answered him, "Yes, my dude, I'm so ready." And the sister announced the start of the ride by saying, "Remember, don't look back as you brave the Black Forest." And the ride began. We started on a smooth ride with me and Luke already screaming. I put it laughing out loud. But then all of a sudden we launched into the Black Forest building. It was dark with forest sound effects such as spirits, storm, and wolves. The ride raced 53 miles per hour through the decorations and lights. And me and Luke were screaming so loud. Then all of a sudden the ride came to a complete stop, and all of a sudden we dropped 16 feet and everybody screamed on that drop. After the Black Forest, we launched out 55 miles per hour to a bridge, which was the start of the 88-foot drop. We went down 88 feet toward the water, banking left, then right, and ended with the last turn. Me and Luke really enjoyed the ride, saying, "Man, that is just awesome as always," even though the sound effects sounded weird, but still, good ride. And Luke said, "Yeah." So we got off the ride, looked at our ride photo, and decided to ride it again. We rode it about 4 times in a row, and each time it was awesome. And also, we rode it. Also, we wrote it. We got all 3. When we rode it, we got all 3 sound effects. Sorry. After we rode it 4 times, we were walking to our next coaster, Invader. But as we were on our way to the coaster, my dad called me on my phone and he said, "Hey Zach, are you and Luke having a great time?" I said, "Yes, Dad, we are having so much fun." And he said, "That is good, son. Hey, meet me at the Fest House so we can have lunch there." And Dad, we're coming. We're actually right by the Fest House. And he just said, "Okay." So me and Luke went into the Fest House, and when we went in there was a whole show going on in there. We met my dad and his friend in the line to get our food. The line was kind of long at about 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, we paid and got our food. I got a pizza, fries, and a cherry Coke. Luke got the same thing as me, except we got a regular Coke. Luke paid for his own food, and my dad paid for mine. And since I had a season pass, I got a discount with paying. So me and Luke ate our lunch along with my dad and his friend. A show was going on, and Zach said, if they're doing pictures afterwards, we got to get one with them. Luke said, "Yes, we do." As the show ended, we finished our food and told my dad we were going now. And he said, "Okay guys, but when 6 p.m. hits, I need y'all to meet us in Scotland because it will be time to go home." We said, "Okay, we got you." So me and Luke put our food in the trash and went to get a picture with the actors of the play. Me and Luke got a picture with all the actors, and after that picture, we kept moving on. Me and Luke were walking to Invader, but we were in Rheinfeld and we came across the Alpengeist coaster. And since it was right there, me and Luke decided to just go ride that ride first. Alpengeist was always that ride where there was no line. So we just got straight on ride. Luke said, "Zach, you alright? You ready, bro?" And Zach said, "Sort of. I'm just a little nervous about that Cobra roll part. It sucks. For all you coaster fans, you already know what a Cobra roll is. But for the ones that don't, it's like this, and then it goes like this." So, just for the fans that didn't know what a Cobra roll is. It sucks. Luke said, "It's fine." After he said that, the ride started. "Thank you, and enjoy your avalanche adventure on Alpengeist." The ride began. The ride was fun, but it was kind of rough too. My head was banging on the restraints the whole time. After the ride, we decided to ride it 3 times, and each time was cool, but also rough. And Zach said, "I ain't laughing. I ain't never doing this again." Never. Luke laughed so hard after what Zach said. After Alpengeist, we ran to Invader in the New France section of the park. We got to the entrance of the ride and looked at the wait time. It was about 30 minutes. We got in line and waited 30 minutes later. We got on the ride. Zach felt like recording the ride with his phone, and Luke said, "Oh bro, you should not do that, bro." And Zach said, "Okay, I won't do it." All of a sudden, the ride started. Now sit back and enjoy your adventure on Invader. The ride started. We went up the lift and down the drop at 48 miles per hour. Me and Luke screamed so loudly that some people in the front and back were looking at us. The ride ended and we were completely out of breath. Zach said, laughing, I thought it was going to be hang on guys, I'm trying to know where I am. "I know bro, that's insane." We got off the ride and decided to ride it again. We rode it 2 times and each time was awesome. Zach said, "Bro, that ride is just insane, bro." "I know, bro. Well, next is the Griffin." Off to the Griffin. We ran to the ride in the France section and got to the entrance of the ride. We checked the wait time and it was about 15 minutes. We got in line and Luke yelled, "Yeah, Griffin." Zach said, "Yeah." 15 minutes later, we got on the ride. We got in the front row and I was very excited. "Zach, you ready, bro?" Luke said, "Yes, bro, here we go." And then, now prepare to feel the power and speed of the mythical Griffin. The ride began. We went up 45 degrees, 205 feet up. It was the tallest coaster in the park, and the view from the top was absolutely amazing. We hung on the drop for 5 seconds, and then we dropped 200 feet down and went on the large loop, and we screamed so loud from our lungs. Then we did the second drop, and it did the water break, and then the ride ended. The ride was so freaking awesome. Luke said, "We got to ride that again, bro." Zach said, "Yes, sir." So that's what we did. We rode it 3 times in all 3 rows, and each time was amazing. After 3 rides, my dad called me again to let me know that it was time to go home. He called me and said, "Hey, Zach, I need you and Luke to come to the front of the park so we can go." Zach said, "Okay, Dad, but do you mind if we ride Finnegan's Flyer first? The line is only 10 minutes. He said, "Yes, sure, but afterwards, let's go. So we can go out to eat." "Okay, Dad." I hung up so we can go get in line for Finnegan's Flyer. Luke said, "Bro, are you going to cuss a lot on this?" I said, "Nah, bro, not on this." "Not on this," he said. "Okay, bro." So the employee put us on the orange side, and we got on the ride. We strapped ourselves in and were ready to ride. The ride started, and it started off slowly, but then 2 minutes later, we really soared high on the ride. It almost felt like we were going to fall off. After the ride, me and Luke were so exhausted after our screaming. We got our stuff out of the bin and exited the attraction. We ran up to the Scotland section and met my dad. He said to me, "Did you enjoy your day, son?" I said, "Yeah, I really did." As we were exiting the park, we stopped at a candy shop. I got 2 packs of Whoppers and Luke got a huge lollipop. We exit the park with eating some of our candy. "Make sure y'all don't eat too much, boys. We're about to go eat." Dad said, "Okay, Dad." "Okay, Dad," Zach said. We went to the car, got in, and drove out of the park. My dad asked me, "Did you guys have fun?" Luke said, "Sure did, Mr. Hodge." "That's good, Luke." Then he said, "Zach, did you have fun?" I smiled and answered him, "Oh, Dad, it was probably the best trip I ever had at Busch Gardens." So just because we rode every ride more than once, and it was such short crowd, and lastly, I love the shows. "That is awesome, son. Glad you had fun." We kept driving down 64 South, going back, and my dad asked me, "All right, birthday boy, where do you want to go to eat for your birthday?" I said I would like to go eat at Outback. My dad said, "All right, Outback it is." So we drove about 20 to 30 minutes down the road, past the Monitor Merrimack, and past Suffolk. And we went to the Outback in Western Branch. Me and Luke were knocked out from the Busch Gardens trip. We slept through the whole car ride there. My dad woke us up, we got out of the car, and we went inside. Luke and I were so hungry after the day. We got inside and they said we had to wait for 5 minutes to be seated. 5 minutes later, the hostess led us to our table. We sat at a booth by the corner of the restaurant. We all sat down and my dad and his friend asked, "So what did y'all do today at the park?" Then me and Luke both explained together. "We rode all the rides more than once, except Loch Ness. And we rode that new Pantheon roller coaster. It was so freaking awesome. We rode it 5 times in a row." My dad said, "Wow, you guys must have had such a great time today." We sure hang on, no. We sure did. As we were all talking, our waiter came to our table. "Hello everyone, my name is Evan." I made that name up. "I will be y'all server this evening. Can I get y'all started with something to drink?" I said, "Yes, I will have a Coke, please." Luke said, "I will have a Coke as well." Dad said, "I will have a water, please." And his friend said, "I will have a sweet tea, please." Then the waiter said, "All right, I will be out with that shortly." As the waiter left, I asked, "What did you guys do at the park today, Dad?" He smiled and said, We basically just rode the chill rides like Loch Ness and Verbolten. Zach asked, what car did y'all get on? Verbolten. We got the yellow car and got this storm effect. Luke said, oh, that is so cool. The waiter came back with our drinks and asked us, can I get y'all anything to eat? Then Dad said, I made these names up because I don't know what my parents order at Outback, so I just made these up. Yes, I will take a steak this size. Okay, and for you, sir? Zach said, I would like fries and chicken tenders, please, since that is my favorite meal, with mustard and ketchup. Then Luke said, I would like this steak, please. Okay, and for you, ma'am? I would like this salad right here. Okay, and I will take your all menus. As we were giving the menus to the waiter, and my dad stopped the waiter and said, hey, it's also his birthday today, so can y'all make him something nice? We sure can, the waiter said. We'll be right back. At about 20 to 30 minutes later, they came out with our food, and we all crushed our food. Me and Luke ate it so quick that we finished it in 10 minutes. My dad asked us, was it good, y'all? Luke said, yep, sure was. At about 10 minutes later, the Outback crew came out. Hang on, now I gotta find that part. Now with a cake and ice cream and a birthday candle on the top. They sing, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday from Outback. I made that up, like I don't know Outback song. Happy birthday to you. Zach yelled, thank you guys so much. Then Dad said, blow out the candle. I blew out the candle and started eating my birthday dessert. It was chocolate cake and vanilla ice cream, and I ate it. In 30 seconds after I finished it, I was so full. The waiter came with our check and said, will you guys like a box for y'all food? And Dad said, yes, please, we'll take 2. The waiter said, okay, I will be right back. When we left, Dad asked, did you enjoy Outback? I did, actually. I really enjoyed it. And then Luke said, yes, sir, Zach. So the waiter came back with our check and bags and told us to have a great day. Hang on, now I gotta find that paper. Now I gotta find that one. Hang on. And then he said, y'all ready? And we said, yes, let's go. So we left Outback, went in the car, went to Suffolk to take my dad's friend back home. Luke asked me, you had a good birthday, bro? Zach answered him, I really did, bro. So we rode to my dad's friend's house, and we got there in about 15 minutes. Me, Luke, and Dad said our goodbyes to her, and she said, I really had fun today with you all, and we said, no problem, thanks for coming with us. After we dropped her off, it was time to drop Luke off. The whole ride to his house, we just chilled on our phones and listened to music, the whole ride. We got to his house at about 8:45 p.m., and when he got to his house, we said, Luke, I really enjoyed you today, man. We definitely need to hang out again soon. And Luke said, yeah, bro, we sure do need to. Alright, bro, good night. I love you. And then Zach said, I love you too, bro. Luke grabbed his phone and cut from the park and got out of the car and went in his house. Me and my dad left his house and left the Forest Lakes neighborhood and was talking with Miss Misty all the way home about our day. And I was just posting all the photos me and Luke took at the Busch Gardens on Instagram. We arrived back home and went in the house. My sister, brother, and dad met in the kitchen and asked me, Zach, what did you think of Busch Gardens today and your birthday? And I said, I really enjoyed Busch Gardens today. It was probably the best coaster adventure I've ever had at the park. I surely cannot wait to go back. Livia said, that's awesome, bro. So we all went upstairs and chilled the rest of the night, and I started listening to music. I have to say, this was probably the best birthday I've ever had. In fact, this will be a birthday that I will be telling my friends about. The end. All right, guys. And like I said, I made this up. This was a prediction story of my 19th birthday. And just so y'all know, a lot of these things in the story that I said isn't probably going to happen. Like, I know that Outback thing's not going to happen. My dad's not going to take me to Outback. My mom is going to take me to Outback. So that was one thing that was not true in this story. And like I also said about the Carl Lum Park president, yes, that's not true either, because they got a new park president now. So and I gotta find his name, and I gotta find out some information about him. So I made that part up too, because, and don't comment any bad stuff about that, because I just, like I said, this story that I've written was made up. But and you guys probably might say like, oh, Zach, you wrote like a whole, you didn't write a story, you wrote like a whole book. Like a whole, it felt like a whole chapter book long. And guess what? You can actually say that was a whole chapter book long, because my voice actually got tired reading this whole story on this video. So yes, this was my story. I felt like I did a real good job in it. I felt like I worked my hardest at it, and like I said, it took me 2 days to finish this story. I worked at it all through school and all at home. Yes, this was my first long story I've ever written, and I feel like I did such a good job at it. So I hope you enjoyed my future birthday story today, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Keep it touched to Zachariah Hodge. I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out, y'all.